One of the things that we're most proud of here at the Evolution of Medicine is the creation of over 500 worldwide meetup groups. And at our Future of Functional Summit in Powder Mountain, Utah, we spoke to four of the leaders of four of the biggest meetup groups across the country in Austin, Chicago, New York, and Toronto. Listen in as we get some ideas of the power of community and how bringing practitioners together can transform the future of medicine. Enjoy. What we've been looking to do with these meetups is really to create a safe physical space to invite new doctors into. And I think one of the key pieces is having someone on the team whose role it is to call people and invite them. And so the sponsors can sort of fit in there. Megan, I know that you obviously run the Toronto one. You've been in the naturopathic world and sort of innovating in that. What was some of the ways that you found to sort of engage into the local community?
Yeah, well, we have a relatively new meetup in Toronto, and we started it a few years ago, and it wasn't the right timing, and then we relaunched last spring, and we have a lot of influencers in Toronto. We have a lot of people doing really dynamic things, and we reached out to them, and we said this is about community, and this is about impact, and this is about creating an infrastructure for impact, and that message really resonated with people. And so what they do when they come to our meetups is you put your name on a name tag on the right, and then on the left you put what you're currently passionate about. And so for people who were new, it facilitated an opportunity to have a discussion point, and it rallied everyone around what they're excited about right now. It made a huge difference. And then we have medical doctors coming out to our meetups, which may not sound odd in this country, but in Canada, in our healthcare system, which sounds remarkably calm compared to what's happening down here, physicians can't operate outside the system. And so we have physicians who are interested in functional medicine. They want to run a functional medicine practice, and they're somewhat ostracized in doing that, and they don't have a sense of community and a safe place to go to talk about that. And we provide that safe place to come and talk about it. So they have found their people and their tribe. So there's a lot of isolated practitioners. I think sometimes we're running our micro practices, or we're unique in how we approach patient care within the broader clinics that we're in. And we really just focused on creating a place where people felt safe and felt excited. So we really focus on what's the emotion of the event, and people really wanted to belong to that.
Why do you think we have when it comes to building community, why are the top people that are standing up and building community all around the world a bunch of women?
We are stronger together, and I think that is inherent. I don't know, as women, I think we know that the tribe is stronger when we are together. And with all due respect to what James has built, what the meetups have done for us and what the Functional Forum has done is it's given us a rallying point. But I think at the end of the day, it isn't necessarily about the topic of the Functional Forum on any given night. It is the opportunity to come together as a group of people who want to create shift and change and make people's lives better. And I think that divine female energy, we want to create shift, and we want to bring people together, and we want to make people's lives better. So I think it's a natural fit.
What can we learn about getting people to show up in community?
So I would say that we got a lot of feedback from the people coming. That was the key. We started asking people what did they want. And what we discovered is people really wanted an opportunity to really connect and speak to each other. So the networking time was really important. As Jeff actually mentioned, food was also very important. So we reached out to our local community and found health chefs. And we also found nutritionists who were doing really great work. And we asked them to come in and to sponsor the events. So they were bringing in incredible food. So people really love that, really healthy, natural, organic food. And so we'd all meet for about an hour, and we would have, food together. And in the beginning, we played the whole hour and a half. And I think that really what changed it, the big jump, and more people started coming, is when we started shortening it down. So Patricia, my business partner, and I, what we did was we would watch it on Monday night, and then we would scale it down to a smaller amount. So we had about a half an hour. And so we'd play the half an hour, and that would give us more time. We'd have more time to network. And then the other thing we realized is the reason probably it was so successful when you started it the first 2 years in New York is we had really incredible speakers. So we had live engaging conversations with experts. And so when James would choose a topic of environmental medicine, we'd reach out to our community and we'd find someone who was an expert in environmental medicine. We'd ask them to come in and speak, and we'd interview them. So one month I would do it, and then we'd alternate with Patricia, and we'd actually interview them and ask questions that were in alignment with what you were doing on Monday, but we were now doing it on Wednesday so that we could have the recorded half an hour session, and then we'd have more time to actually interact with everyone.
We set Anne is the head of community, and we said, Anne, we want you to build a community using only the resources that we've provided for everyone else to build a community. Can you give it a go? And actually there's a lot of things that people have told us, like you can't have a meetup in August, no one will show up or otherwise. Anne had one in Chicago that had 50 people like a week ago. Anne, you want to share a little bit about your experience of building a meetup from scratch with these resources?
Sure. So I started with 0 practitioners on my list of people to invite, so that was a little bit intimidating. But I just took my own advice. Nicole and myself just talked to, all the people who are interested in starting a meetup, and it was, this is your own. Everyone's motivated by, the desire to connect with their community of practitioners. And like they said, I just followed my own advice. And I reached out to Orthomolecular and some other Zymogen and some other sponsors. And I think, I don't know if you guys have mentioned this yet, but they played a key role, and we're excited, and they're in the industry. And I reached out. I said, hey, I have 0 people, but I'm going to take care of, planning everything and hosting. And they really pulled through. I started with 18 people at my very first meetup. And I had 50 this last month, and yeah, there were a lot of people who were like, July, August, not the way to go, but I put myself out there, and like I said, followed my own advice, and I'm excited to share a little bit more about that.
So we forced Anne to do it without any help from us, right? We could have helped her much more than we did. We didn't help her at all. But there's a reason for that. We knew Anne is capable. But then the question becomes, these are the same exact instructions we're giving to all the meetup groups, and not almost. Anne had like one of the fastest growing meetup groups immediately at the toughest time of the year. So that tells me that it's about compliance. It's about people following the instructions. I mean, we're giving them these instructions. It's the same thing with patients. It's the same thing. So, what do we have to do? How can we, just as a community, get better at that end of things? Is it something we're not communicating right? Where is that happening? Because clearly the plan was there, and Anne had the motivation, and she'd created the plan, and she just followed that plan, and it worked. So we have so many people who aren't able to execute it that way, but obviously they're not following the plan, and we see that in our industry in many different iterations.